Ladies and gentlemen, this is a story that came out on ABC News October 24th, 2018. The opioid plague, incalculable pain, and a $1 trillion hit to the U.S. They have spent a fortune on this drug plague, and it is still surging. The overdose deaths have consistently gone up over a 20-year period. So obviously, throwing money at it is not the solution. The problem is you got millions and millions of people out here abusing opioids in this country. It has gone so far out of control, there is no possible way they can get it under control, especially the way that they're doing it. Money is not the solution, in declaring it a public health emergency is also not the solution. If it was, we would see a complete turnaround. There is no turnarounds going on anywhere. And the bottom line is the deaths are through the roof. And in the meantime, they are still trying to lie about how many people in this country die per day. Now, I have seen it as low as 115, which they are lying. And I've seen it as high as 200, and that's still a lie. That's low. They're lowballing all of the numbers because they don't want everybody to see how bad this really is. And you can tell it's bad because these stories come out consistently on a regular basis. And the mainstream media in this country has done everything above and beyond to avoid reporting on this on a regular basis. But despite all of that, the news articles come out each and every day. Every day. It's just like now you're starting to see more and more low sperm count, low birth rate stories out a lot more often than before. Because these things are serious. And they have to talk about it to some degree because it's so obvious that their population is growing smaller. So as of now, more people have died from this opioid plague than the number of homicides in America every year, the number of people that died during the Vietnam War. That war went on for 15 years. And there's more people that died from opioids than that 15-year war. And I did a video about a week ago where they did a survey. And in the rural area, they said this drug addiction is their number one concern. In 2017 alone, they spent $115 billion. $115 billion on opioid addiction. And there's even more people dying in 2018 after spending all of that money. So where are the losses in all of this money that's been poured into the addiction that's going on? All right, they've been using money to treat overdoses in emergency room, long-term care for drug addiction, caring for children, of course, that are caught up in the system because both parents may be drug addicts, or one parent that is the only parent in the household that is now either serving time in prison, because sooner or later, any kind of drug addiction will always lead to crime. It's unavoidable. And missing time for work. So there's lost wages, lost productivity, and of course, overdose deaths. So it's costing a whopping $115 billion just in 1 year. But since 2001, the opioid plague direct costs have topped, which means it's gone beyond $1 trillion. I remember during the crack epidemic, they didn't spend a dime on anything except for building more prisons. That's what they did during the crack epidemic. They kept opening more facilities to throw everybody in because of all the mass incarceration that was going on. But during this epidemic, they finally found their heart, ladies and gentlemen, and we know why they did. Okay. So the labor force dropout. Many of these people that are addicted to opioids tend not to work. And the few that do work out here, they miss so much time from work. Many of these companies are suffering a lot of productivity loss. So a lot of people dropping out of the labor force due to drug addiction are between the ages of 25 and 54, which is called the prime age workers. And employers are looking for these people to work. And, if you followed most of my videos, there are a lot of empty positions around America, positions that are not being filled. It's gotten so bad. I've even did videos on articles where they're talking about doing away with drug testing altogether because they are so desperate to get these people working. And they don't know what to do. And I also did one on where they are talking about dropping marijuana altogether from drug testing. So a look at how opioid addiction is affecting the job market underscores its adverse impact on the economy as a whole. Despite rock bottom unemployment and solid economic growth, many Americans have dropped out of the workforce. People between the ages of 25 and 54, known as prime age workers, are employed or looking for work at much lower rates than their peers in other developed countries. Wow. Except for people 55 and over, Americans of all age groups are less active in the labor force than they were in 2001. So that just go to show you, ladies and gentlemen, the addiction has gotten so bad that these addicts are no longer trying to look for work. They are literally just sitting around getting high every single day. And you may say, well, where are they getting the money? Oh, they do many things to get money, including having sex for money. Okay. I did a story on, it was my other channel that I had, my first channel that I was doing videos on. And a man literally caught his wife having sex with someone in a car for drugs. He caught his own wife doing that. So that they do many creative things for money, plus stealing from their friends and family. That's how they get it. So as you can see, no trophy for participation, and you can see the ages right here: 55 and older, 25 to 54, and 20 to 24. And then the lowest is 16 to 19. And these are the people that dropped out of the labor force. And this has many implications, because if you have a big chunk of your population not working because of drug addiction, that means you got less money circulating in your economy. So it really has a domino effect on everything. So you got less money in the economy, less consumers buying out here because of this, all tied to this drug addiction. And all right, so why the robust job market and its need for more workers has failed to pull more Americans off the sidelines into jobs. That's because they are not, while they're getting high, they're not really overly concerned about finding work. And that's really the truth. Okay, so people talk about a mixed match in supply and demand, that they want more construction workers. And, just talking to True Royal, she said the construction industry drug addiction is really bad. A lot of drug overdoses and everything going on. But we haven't got them. Or we need people in the Midwest and have unemployed people in the Southeast. But those are not big enough, Shepperson said. He estimates that without the opioid plague, the nation unemployed rate today would be 5% or 5.5% instead of the current rate that it's at. Um, and what they're saying is, you know, government officials are trying to claim this is going to level off. It's not going to level off, ladies and gentlemen, because there's no consequences for the drug abuser. Okay, number one, they gave these people amnesty so they don't go to jail like the crack addicts went to jail. These addicts out here literally can stumble around and be as high as they want, pass out in the middle of the street, be revived with some Narcan, taken to a hospital, and they go straight home. There is no jail time for these addicts. The only time they go to jail is when they resort to robbing in order to get money for their addiction. There's a lot of them that will rob pharmacies, rob convenience stores, gas stations. They get robbed all the time by these these junkies are doing it. They're doing it for drug money, trying to get money for their drug habit that they got going. So many of these people are also working jobs every day. They're going to their jobs. Some of them are just sitting there and getting high on the job. I did a few stories where teachers were doing their drugs right there in the classroom in front of the children. I've done stories on people dying on their job, overdosing and dying on their jobs. A couple of teachers I did stories on about a year ago that overdosed and died right there in the bathroom of the schools they worked in. So this is happening everywhere, unfortunately. And as far as this thing leveling off, all I can say is hold your breath. And you have many drug addicts that apply for work and they cannot pass a pre-employment drug test. That is also another huge thing going on across the country. So, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what they tell you about doctors writing fewer scripts, these pharmaceutical companies are still making a killing on opioids. Not to mention they're coming out with a new one that the FDA has approved that's supposed to be 500 times stronger than morphine and more powerful than the opioids that are on the market today. So I guess when you have a drug epidemic going on, hey, just bring out more powerful opioids. Makes sense, right? Woo, man. And these people insist they got high IQs, man. Mm-mm-mm. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I will see you on the next video. Peace, family.